Anxious and touching emotions filled the soundcheck area of Arlington Day 2. The atmosphere, which was supposed to be filled with ARMY's enthusiasm, suddenly changed when BTS's Jimin was seen trying hard to go through the practice session despite his physical condition appearing less than optimal. Amidst the fans' cheers, Jimin still tried to give his best smile and energy. Jimin is known as someone who always tries to perform at his best in front of fans. Even when his body is not in its best condition, he still tries to complete every part of his performance. However, this time, his effort made many ARMYs feel worried instead. Several fancam recordings from the soundcheck area showed Jimin looking more cautious in his movements a few times. His expression also looked different compared to usual. Nevertheless, he still tried to smile and greet the fans in front of the stage. In the middle of that situation, Jungkook's attention immediately became the spotlight. Throughout the song, Jungkook was seen glancing toward Jimin several times. Those glances made fans feel that Jungkook was truly paying attention to his Hyung's condition. Even when the main camera pointed to another part of the stage, Jungkook seemed to keep ensuring Jimin was within his sight. He wasn't just enjoying the performance, but seemed to occasionally check on Jimin's state. The most touching moment occurred when the soundcheck session entered its final part. As the members prepared to take their positions, Jungkook was seen approaching Jimin and putting an arm around his shoulder. That simple gesture instantly made the atmosphere even more emotional. Jungkook's embrace looked like a form of support without many words. If Jimin was indeed feeling uncomfortable with his physical condition, Jungkook's presence by his side seemed to convey a message that he didn't have to face everything alone. Jimin then turned back to face ARMY. Although his face looked tired, he still raised his hand and gave a smile to the audience. That smile touched many fans even more because it looked like Jimin's effort to reassure ARMY, even though he himself was not completely doing well. Some ARMYs who witnessed the moment even admitted it was hard to hold back tears. For them, it was not only Jimin's condition that touched their hearts, but also the way Jungkook paid attention spontaneously without needing to make it a show. The moment then spread through various fan recordings. Video clips showing Jungkook's glance, the arm around Jimin's shoulder, and Jimin's smile to ARMY became a hot topic among fans. However, it is important to remember that a person's health condition cannot be confirmed based solely on expressions or short recordings. What is seen in the video is merely a moment from a performance, so assumptions regarding Jimin's condition should not be considered a diagnosis or medical fact. Regardless, Jungkook's attention to Jimin remained the most emotional part of that Arlington moment. There were no big words, no exaggerated gestures. Just a glance, a step closer, and a brief embrace that managed to touch many people. For ARMY, that moment once again recalled the spirit of togetherness that has always been attached to BTS. When one of the members looks like he needs support, the others can be present to give strength in a simple way. Arlington Day 2 ultimately left more than just memories of a performance on stage. Jimin's smile, which was still forced through his exhaustion, and Jungkook's attention, which kept watching over him, became a moment that left many fans silent. In the end, perhaps this is the simplest meaning of the phrase "you never walk alone." Amidst thousands of ARMY voices, spotlight beams, and the grandeur of the stage, Jimin still had someone by his side ready to offer support when he needed it. And one brief embrace from Jungkook in Arlington succeeded in turning a soundcheck moment into an unforgettable memory. ARMY's feelings in Arlington then became even harder to hold back when Jimin again tried to interact with the audience. In the middle of an atmosphere starting to fill with concern, Jimin kept raising his hand and giving smiles to those in front of the stage. For fans, that smile actually felt more touching than usual. Jimin seemed to want to show that he still enjoyed the moment with ARMY, even though his body appeared to need more time to rest. Some fans even began shouting words of support louder. It was no longer just cheers from seeing their idol up close, but like a simple message so that Jimin wouldn't feel he had to go through that moment alone. "Jimin, we're okay. Don't push yourself," became a picture of the feelings many fans wanted to convey. They came to see Jimin perform, but at the same time they also wanted to ensure their idol took care of himself. That sight created a very different atmosphere. Jimin gave a smile to ARMY, while ARMY responded with cheers full of love. It was as if a wordless conversation was happening between the stage and the stands. On the other hand, Jungkook remained a center of attention. After previously being seen approaching Jimin, his presence near his fellow member made fans feel even more reassured. For ARMY, at least Jimin had someone who could be by his side when he appeared to need support. The moment also showed another side of the BTS members' relationship. On stage, they are performers who must give their best presentation, but behind that, they remain friends and teammates who watch out for each other. The longer the soundcheck went on, the more palpable it became that ARMY's attention wasn't focused only on the performance. They began paying attention to Jimin's expressions, movements, and body language. Every time Jimin smiled, cheers resounded again. Every time he seemed to pause for a moment, worry resurfaced. This is what made the Arlington atmosphere feel so emotional. No one wanted to turn the soundcheck into a sad moment. However, seeing Jimin still trying to give energy to fans made many people even more touched. For ARMY, Jimin's happiness is far more important than the perfection of a performance. They don't need Jimin to always look strong. They just want to see him in good condition and enjoying time with them without having to push himself. When the session finally approached its end, ARMY's voice filled the stadium area once again. This time, the cheers felt like a big hug from thousands of people wanting to give encouragement to Jimin. Jimin then gave another smile and a wave of his hand. That simple moment was greeted with even louder shouts, changing the atmosphere from anxious to deeply moving. A few seconds after the embrace, ARMY's attention returned to Jimin's face. He slowly turned back to face the audience and tried to continue the soundcheck atmosphere as before. However, this time, his expression became the part that received the most attention. Jimin smiled and waved his hand again, but the brief moment with Jungkook made many fans feel as though they saw a small change in him. The embrace might have lasted only a moment, but for ARMY, Jungkook's presence beside Jimin seemed to give space for the idol to pause briefly from the pressure of the stage. Jimin then tried to get back into the flow of the session. He responded to the audience, smiled when hearing ARMY's shouts, and tried to maintain the energy that has always been known as his signature trait. Meanwhile, Jungkook was seen staying not far from Jimin. There were no grand gestures made after the embrace. In fact, that calm attitude made the moment feel all the more natural. Fans recording from various angles also began paying attention to small details. Some focused on Jimin's expression, some noticed Jungkook's positioning, while others tried to hear if there was a brief conversation between the two. Unfortunately, the sound of ARMY filling the stadium made any conversation impossible to hear clearly. Therefore, there is no certainty regarding what Jungkook actually said to Jimin. Even so, that lack of clarity made curiosity grow even bigger. Several fans began wondering whether Jungkook had time to offer words of encouragement before they resumed the soundcheck. What was clearly visible was only the sequence of simple moments. Jimin seemed to need a break. Jungkook approached, an embrace happened, and then Jimin turned back to face ARMY with a smile he still maintained. For some fans, that series of events felt like a form of communication without words. Jungkook didn't need to do anything over the top. Simply being beside Jimin, offering brief support, and then letting him return to enjoying the moment with ARMY was enough. That is also what made the fans' reaction even more emotional. They were not only seeing an idol trying to perform, but also seeing how a small act of care from someone close could provide comfort in the middle of an exhausting situation. ARMY then filled the Arlington area once more with cheers of support. This time, the voice sounded like a direct response to Jimin, so he would know that fans did not demand him to always be perfect. Jimin smiled once again. In the end, perhaps what ARMY will remember most from Arlington is not just the sound of music, the glare of lights, or the grand stage. Rather, it was a brief embrace in the middle of a soundcheck that managed to steal attention and leave a deep impression. Jimin kept trying to smile for the fans. He continued trying to keep the atmosphere warm, while Jungkook was seen giving support from nearby. There were no big gestures requiring long explanations, but that simple moment felt so meaningful for those who witnessed it. For some ARMYs, this was one of the most touching sides of the BTS members' bond. On stage, they are required to perform at their maximum. Yet in between those moments, There is a time when a member can pause for a second to care for his teammate's condition.